Hey team, so we're going to talk today about the scale framework. And the whole idea about this is to help you guys get a better understanding and how to convert in the most simple way more sales from actually within your business. And we break it down using a framework called scale. So let's talk a little bit about something that most business owners secretly know, but actually never really talk about it out loud. So you're amazing at what you do. But when it comes to structure, when it comes to systems, when it comes to sales consistency, it's chaos. And you're ending up reacting to leads, you end up chasing people, you end up forgetting what follow-ups have been done, and you end up wondering why your revenue ends up looking a bit like a crazy roller coaster. Does that sound familiar? Good. Now, this is what I want to talk about today. I want to give you a 5-step framework that will turn all of that chaos into a clean, predictable breakdown. And if you end up wanting to get this done for you, reach out. This is what we do for companies. And it's what we teach inside the Conversations to Clients program. And that's designed to help business owners turn all these conversations into consistent clients. The whole goal here isn't to be stuck in the weeds all the time. So grab yourself a notepad, shut off the noise, and by the end of this video, it's probably going to take 15 minutes, maybe 20. You can walk away with a breakdown of exactly what you need to do in this 5-step process, and you can actually start implementing this stuff pretty much immediately. So first part of this is your S for the scale framework. So SCALE. So that's your sourcing high quality leads. Now, most people think that they actually have a sales problem and we moan about wanting more leads. But what you really have is a lead quality problem. You can have the best ingredients in the world, but if you've got bad ingredients and you try and put that into some 5-star meal, it's not going to work. And it's exactly the same as what happens with leads. Most businesses are chasing volume over quality. And they want to get as many leads as possible, even if those leads couldn't afford a sandwich. And you end up getting tired, you end up getting frustrated because you don't know who you can use and who's going to buy, and it makes it so unpredictable. And that's why your pipeline ends up feeling busy, but your bank account doesn't. Does that make some sense? So here's what I want you to fix. First, we want to make sure we've got a message to market match. Write that down, message to market. If your message isn't speaking directly to the exact person you want, you'll attract the wrong ones. And I'll give you a prime example for this. If you follow my content, you'll see us talk a lot about solar companies. But that's because we help 19 different industries. But because most people understand how a solar company operates, and it's the same way that we took companies from 30K a month to 300 grand a month without a big team, most people out there, they go, oh, well, they sell in-house, so they probably sell appointments over the set appointments on the phone. They might be able to do the same for my business. So our message to market is aligned with bringing in all the different industries that we can help. Secondly, you need to build a system for that consistent sourcing. If your leads come in bursts, then you're selling bursts. Does that make some sense? If your leads come in steady, reliable, predictable streams, you can sell in that same way. So let's talk about how you're going to create some of those streams. Now, I'm not an ad expert, but we run our own ads. I'm not a marketing expert, but we're good between getting our organic working in the right way. And there's 2 main pillars you're going to have. You're going to have your inbound and you're going to have your outbound. Now, you can have your inbound. It's your attraction, it's your ads, it's the content, it's the SEO, videos like this. They'll bring people into you. Or the other side is going to be your outbound, going out and hunting for the business. Cold calling, DM, follow-ups, partnerships, those type of areas. So these go to them. The best businesses, they can do both. And one of our big things that we have is when people start working with us, it's our revenue recovery plan, where you're going back to your old leads that you couldn't close. Because if you think about it, let's say you close 10% of your business at the moment. but we can help you get to 50. That other 40% that sat there, we help you get back out there to do it. And that takes confidence, takes belief, takes skills. And if you don't know how to do it, it becomes far harder. So now let's talk into that quality side. You don't necessarily need to get hundreds of leads every single day. You need to get the right small amount. That might be 10, it might be 20. You need to define the idea avatar with those 3 to 5 characteristics that make someone to become your dream buyer. Now, they might have a certain revenue level. They might have value quality. They might already be tired of doing it themselves and they want you to do it for them. The clearer we get that image, the better. And whether that's going to be using video, webinars, automations, whether that's going to be voice notes, you've got to make sure you're doing things in the right way to make this predictable. And we want to make sure that when those leads are coming in, you're doing everything possible to take them from remotely interested into super interested. And that's where most people get it wrong. Because just because someone's put their hand up in a crowd and said, that could be for me, doesn't mean that they're ready to buy. And this is why you find yourself moaning about your leads. It's because you haven't got that right at the first page, but then you haven't built them up so that when we get to the next stage, C, convert leads into appointments, but you don't get it right. So let's jump into that part. So think of it like this. Source high quality leads. Now you've got the leads. Now we've got to convert those leads into appointments. Once you've got your leads, you've got to convert them into having conversations. That's where the deals are going to be made. And a lead means nothing at all unless it turns into a booked call or into a meeting or into a sale. Here's what most people lose. They, one, wait too long to get through to them. Or two, they don't do any work to get immediate automations engaging with that person the second they engage. Did you know that 78% of leads go to the first people they responded to? 78%. The first person to get in there with that text, that reply, and then get them on the call, speed will help with so many of these areas. Now that means if you're getting leads that are coming in all the time, you need to make sure that you're in the right place to do it. Manually isn't going to work. If you're working on a spreadsheet, it's not going to work. This is why a lot of our clients, we get them partnered up with one of our guys, Chris, to get them set up on Go High Level and other areas that are out there. A simple text automation, simple email sequence, simple videos, it's all really important. Now the whole part is knowing what to put in that text, what to put in that email, knowing what to put in that video. And if you're not sure how to do that, get in touch, have a call with one of the team. And they can literally walk you through how we do this for other people. I can break down all the things of what we can say and how to do it, but I'll be completely frank. Until you're sold on the idea you need to change, it's all wasted energy. And this chair is very squeaky. So, the best appointment setters out there, they don't sound salesy. They sound curious. They start with a soft conversation. They're not trying to force people into our product or into our service. They're actually open to having good dialogue with people. We're actually trying to find people that we won't work with or we can't work with. And we make sure that if that happens, we'll introduce them to someone who can help. So either way, by that person speaking to the team, their life will be better. And that's why most people get it wrong. Everyone's in a rush to sell them their product. And it's buy from me or don't buy from anyone. We're actually in a great place. We don't need the business. We value it, we want it, but only if you're the right fit. And we actually mean that. So if we're at the stage where we feel that your business isn't the right place for us, we're going to make sure that we introduce you to someone who can get you to the right place, and then you can come back. And that's why when people talk to us, we have such a higher conversion. We want to make sure that when we get to the third stage, which is align and close, that happens in a way that aligns and closes the business to the highest level. And that's why align and close gets so overlooked. If you're at a stage now that the only time you get objections is when you've done your pitch and your presentation, you're probably doing it wrong. Closing is about pushing. It's about aligning with your prospects. So our goal isn't to convince them they've got to buy from you. It's about showing how the solution fits, and once they've decided on a solution, that you aim for them to work with you. Too many people are just product pushing. They're pushing their product, pushing their service, and they're telling everyone, we're the best. But here's the problem you've got. The worst company in your industry says exactly the same thing. Don't just ask what their budget is, go deeper. Work out why they're there, what's happened, when they started looking, how painful it's been. Are they sick and tired of what they're looking at? A lot of you are selling a product or service that's boring, and people are thinking they need to be excited to buy, and they don't. You need to understand what's going to happen if they don't fix this, where they're going to be in 6 months, where they're going to be in a year if this carries on. Because it's like a fork in the road. They're not saying yes or no to you. They are saying yes to carrying on the path they're on, or they're going to choose the new path. But either way, a decision is going to be made. And you can just mirror back their answers, their connection questions, their connecting questions, and you're going to build a connection with them. Then when you present that offer, not just a feature, you're going to talk about the results and what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. You're going to talk about the actual thing that's going to align their problem and pain point with your solution, which are going to give you the highest conversions. This is why when I talk to people now, and we've got clients that come up with us with a 10% conversion and we get to a 50%, and it happens and a cog just clicks inside of their mind. And it's so important to realize the people out there that we talk to, they'll use that old school frameworks, feel, felt, found. I understand exactly how you feel. Many of my clients felt exactly the same way. What they found was. But actually, you're just surface level handling conversations. You're trying to just get through the conversation. You want to get people to the stage that internally they have a switch that almost flicks, and it changes their belief, it changes their knowledge, it changes their perspective. Maybe it breaks a misconception that they've got and they've owned for years. And now they're ready to actually move forward. And don't force people into it. Ask good questions. Would it help you if I X? Would your life be better if I Y? If I could do X, would you even want to know? Start having those conversations. It get momentum in the conversation. Because those small questions that you're consistently asking, they lead to helping people feel comfortable to take that step forward. And if you can keep them making small, concise steps, that will gain momentum. And the more momentum that's in there will keep resistance low, and it will keep the flow high, instead of having low flow and high levels of resistance. This moves you into L, leveraging follow-up. You don't need to phone up people and say, hey, I'm just checking in. Hey, I'm just following up. But actually, you want to be at the stage that you understand why following up is important. Should you even be doing it? What are the stats and what does the data show you? And this is where people get this wrong. Most people are comparing apples to oranges. Saying sales is like saying sports. You've got inbound, outbound, B2B, B2C. You've got enterprise sales. You've got 1 call close, 2 call close, 3 call closes. And they're all different. If we look at some of these solar companies now with a 10% conversion and we get to 50%, that's great. But in their follow-up, we can get another 15, sometimes 20%. When they've got low experience, actually having the follow-up process is a great way to pivot it to get all their conversions up. And over time, they will lower out the follow-up as their skills get better. Doesn't mean follow-up doesn't work. It's about, is it right for my industry and how do I do it in an effective way? And then that leads you into that final stage. And that's for the E. And for most people that are out there, they're just not doing things in the right way. So you want to be at the stage now, but when you're thinking about the stage for going in there, you want to make sure you're giving people the opportunity to actually move forward. Because if you're not at a stage where you're expanding the revenue, which is your E, getting the referrals, the testimonials, and the introductions, if you haven't had a huge amount of these in the last 90 days, ask yourself this. Does what you do work? Because if it does, and you're not doing things, and you don't know how to get consistent testimonials, if you don't know how to get consistent referrals, maybe you need help. Why do I share all this stuff? Because this is a lot of what we build out. So if you're sat here now and you're stuck and you're confused and you're lost and you're like, this all sounds great, but I don't have the time, I don't know how to do it, reach out, talk to the team. We'll actually send you a video before you even get on a call. So you can look into this in a little bit more detail to even decide if it's a fit for you. Don't keep struggling with this stuff. It's important to make the change.